So all that is in my head now. Where do I start? How do I apply for an H-1B?
Okay, first of all, you need to have a minimum of bachelor degree or its equivalent. And of course, state license if required, practice in this particular field. And if you are physically in the United States, you can file a change of status application with the USCIS, as long as you haven't violated your current status.
Right.
Okay? If you are abroad, your employer needs to file a petition with the USCIS, and then we're going to talk the same consular processing steps. The employer will file it with the USCIS, and then they're going to notify the American consulate, and then you apply for the visa with the consulate. And then you apply for, of course, you buy a flight ticket, and then you enter the at the airport, apply for admission.
Does the job, if I'm applying for this, let's say my job, does it have to be a full-time job or can it be a part-time job?
H-1B visa workers can work both full-time or part-time. There is no minimum number of hours required to qualify for H-1B position. But sometimes USCIS want to see more evidence to show that you can support yourself in the United States and you don't have to work for other employers illegally.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So basically, having a full-time job would probably be, you'd recommend it more then?
I'll see a job which can show that will provide you sufficient income to cover your expenses in the United States. Doesn't have to be full-time or...
Right. Okay, well, let's just say, like you were saying, maybe it's a part-time job, or what if, let's say, I've applied and I'm already here working, and all of a sudden I want to change to another company. Do I have to reapply?
Okay, H-1B visa holders are only allowed to work for the petitioning company in the position specified on the H-1B petition. So if you want to change employer or work for another employer at the same time, the new company need to file a new petition on your behalf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say that does come up then, and I were to apply because I'm changing to a new company. What are my chances in retaining that same visa? Because let's say I'm successful, but I want to change companies. Is it easier then to maintain the visa?
It's like a new petition, so it doesn't have to be easier or more difficult. As long as you haven't violated your terms and conditions of your H-1B, and as long as you file it before the expiration of your current H-1B or the termination of your current employment, whichever comes first, you may file, your new employer may file a petition for you here, so you don't have to go to the consular processing, and upon filing, you may start working for the new employer. Okay. You don't have to wait until the petition to be approved before you can start working with them.
You mentioned being, let's say your visa is expired or terminated. What happens then if that does happen to you? Okay,
if before the expiration of your H-1B visa, you need to extend it. Okay, if you don't extend it, or if your company terminates you before you find another company to file a new petition on your behalf, you will fall out of status, and you must leave the United States
and reapply.
Right, because you're considered illegal.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Okay, today I'm with partner and attorney Jeff Kergel. It's nice to meet you, Jeff.
Pleasure to meet you.
All right, so today we'll be talking about removal of conditional status. Jeff, what exactly does this mean?
What it means is when you get your green card, immigration will only let you keep that green card for 2 years if you've only been married for 2 years.
Okay.
Did you know? What is the H-1B cap? The United States only issues 65,000 H-1B working visas each year, commencing at the beginning of the fiscal year on October 1st. Because of the limited number of visas and the large demand for the visas, these visas usually run out within a short period of time. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, or USCIS, will accept applications starting on April 1st for visas to be issued on October 1. Once 65,000 visa applications are approved, USCIS will no longer accept H-1B applications. Applicants who receive an approval cannot start work until October 1 and must maintain their legal status in order to change to H-1B working status on October 1. R&A will analyze and evaluate each individual case to ensure visa eligibility and availability, and that the client is maintaining status in order to avail themselves of the visa at the start of the fiscal year on October 1st.
So what are some of the other important requirements that I would probably need to know about the H-1B visa?
Of course, the most important thing is once you get your H-1B visa, you need to make sure that you maintain your status. You don't fall out of status and then become illegal here. Of course, you know that you can't work for other employers without authorization. And you need to work in the position specified on the petition. And another important requirement is that you have to receive the required wage. The required wage is defined as the greater of the actual wage paid by your employer to other employees of similar work experience or qualifications in the position at the place of employment, or prevailing wage, the prevailing wage decided by Department of Labor.
Okay.
Yeah, for the occupation where you work.
Let's say, what's the usual time period for having an H-1B petition?
Once the H-1B is approved, it's approved for 3 years. But in certain cases where, for example, a state license is required, but now they always require a social security number in order for you to get your license.
Okay.
But of course, if you haven't entered the United States yet, or you're on tourist visa, you will never get your social security number. So they will give you 1 year for cases like this. And then after you enter the United States, you get your social security number, you fulfill all the requirements for the license, and then you're gonna file an extension of the H-1B. And they will give you 3 years after that.
Okay, 3 years. So it's 3 years. Then if you were able to get an extension, then another 3 years.
Right, right. But the maximum period of stay for an H-1B visa visa holder is 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 years. And if you want to continue working here, you have to stay outside the United States for at least 1 year before you can apply for a new H-1B visa. But under certain circumstances, if you already initiated the permanent resident process, you may be able to extend it in 1 year or 3 year increment.
So let's say I am now a H-1B visa holder. How is it going to be if I have a family in my country? Can I bring them to the States with me as well?
Yeah, you can bring your spouse and your unmarried children who are under 21 years old with you to the United States. And their visa is called H-4. And then they can get the same period authorized to you to be in the United States. But one thing you need to remember is your family members, they can go to school and they can stay at home, but they cannot work.
Oh, right, right.
Okay?
Okay, well, thank you so much, Attorney May. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, my pleasure.
You can watch previous episodes and sneak peeks of up-and-coming shows by visiting www.immigrationexperts.tv.
According to our immigration experts, the immigration services have created a profile of what it deems to be a suspect H-1B petition. There are many legitimate H-1B petitions that fit squarely within the suspect profile. H-1B employers and employees in this position should understand that they could be subjected to additional scrutiny by the Immigration Service. Fortunately for Glenn, he hired a good law firm.
These are some of the hardest times in the history of the United States to immigrate or obtain a visa to come to the U.S. through employment.
That's why it's more important today to be well informed about your immigration laws, rights, and opportunities
by the immigration experts. I'm Troy Montero, and remember to call the experts for all your immigration solutions.